Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Leadership Showtime. Hope you're having a great day. Wonderful weekend here in the center part of the U.S. Hope you had a great week. Was on the road last week. Got to see both my daughters. Very exciting time. Spent some time with them down in North Carolina and back on the road this week. I was doing the math. I've been on the road 18 of 20 weeks, so I'm ready for a little bit of off-the-road time, but having a great time seeing all the people and getting out and interacting with people. And it's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about on today's show, which I'll get to in just a minute. Quick reminder, you can check us out on the website at www.drleadershipresults.com. Click on that subscription button down at the bottom underneath the menu, wherever you want to find it on the website. Check out the membership. It's $5 a month. Great content, some additional interviews and things coming up. Getting my spring schedule put together. Going to drop 2 or 3 of those here shortly. And you get access early to these wonderful episodes. And then also reach out if you have any comments, any feedback. No hate mail, please, but we can be reached at our email at drleadershipresults@gmail.com. So I'm calling this episode, it's continuing on the journey that we started last week when we talked about, social media a little bit. And I'm calling it an inability to communicate, the downfall of a society. And I had a couple of articles this week, just reading my 15 or 20 different things I read every week voraciously. And it really discussed a couple of these things that got my brain working. And it tied in nicely. So I just want to, kind of kick off here and get things started. So remember last week we discussed the negative effects on our personal drivers, right? No longer are we about being our best self, but society has become so much more focused on being some sort of social media star. The term influencer, it causes regurgitation every time I say it. One's ambitions are driven by likes and not by accomplishments and attainment of goals any longer. And it drives me friggin' nuts, the dumbification, the stupefaction of societies because of our increasing dependency, excuse me. This is about communication. I better get my SHIT together here. Of social media. The influences of it are everywhere, and it's not going to be a good thing in the long run. I promise you. We have to moderate these things. Everything in moderation. I go back to that statement in my mind several times as I was writing this thing out. But today I want to talk on a much deeper level of the terrible impact on our younger generation specifically that these platforms have had, especially around the declining ability to communicate. So when all this stuff comes out, it is a wow factor, right? At first, these applications are very exciting. The ability to reconnect with old friends and family, to be able to interact with people all over the world. However, what's happening here over time is it seems to bring out the worst in our society. So anything that is good and overused can lead to a worse outcome. Think about what's happening in the Pacific Northwest now, Portland, etc. Remember, what's good is let's let people just do what they kind of want to do. We're going to legalize some more drugs. Not just the pot thing. Let's let them do heroin at will. Well, anything outside of moderation or anything that kind of releases the ugliness and the underbelly of society shows up with vigor. And look what's going on there now. Disaster, right? They didn't keep it in moderation. They didn't use their head. They're trying to use their hearts sometimes instead of their head. I love being caring and those types of things. But that's not caring. You don't give an alcoholic that's trying to beat that rap free Jack Daniels. You don't give a heroin addict, here, I'll tell you what we'll do is we don't want you to have a bad experience. So we're just going to give you really strong heroin and you can pick it up over here at the government office. I mean, who thought that was a good idea? So everything in society is becoming the underbelly of what was good and exciting is becoming the ugly side of it. Think of it this way. We've taken these two generations. I'm talking about anybody born after about 95. But so Gen X and millennials, and then you have the Gen Zers coming up too. But the last two generations right now who grew up with these, air quotes, tools and now have a serious communication skill issue. So I said I read a couple articles this week. I was thumbing through Forbes. I was at the airport and thumbing through Forbes. Then I have an electronic membership to that thing too. But Forbes magazine has claimed and has a couple stories. They did a couple stories on how corporate America right now is having huge leadership shortfalls as the generations replace boomers and Gen Xers. So these new generations are coming in, and the boomers and then Gen Xers after that are retirement age. I've got people that I've worked with for 30 years all around me. They're retiring. I'm getting close to that age. Not saying these people that are older are better or have innate capabilities that others don't have. But the concern and what these corporations are saying is that the Gen Z, the Gen X, the Gen Z and the millennials, they have a huge shortfall in communication skills. If they can't IM it, instant message for all you older folks, if they can't text it, if they have to literally go and talk to somebody, inspire or lead, they aren't very good at it. And what does leadership take? Well, I'll tell you what it takes. As a leader, I feel that one of my biggest strengths and what has been a big part of my success is the ability to effectively communicate with all different types of people. It's not the message that you're communicating, it's that you can communicate, right? And with all different types of people. It certainly helped me as an individual contributor. So all the salespeople out there, do you think you're more successful or less successful with good communication skills? Of course you're more successful. Got to be able to tell a story. Got to be able to invigorate. Got to be able to inspire and so on. My mom used to call it the gift of gab. She wanted me to be an attorney. Not wanted me to be an attorney. She thought I would make a good attorney because I was very good at debating her and my father. Let me show you exhibit number 2, Mom and Dad, why I should be allowed to go to this party or this concert or whatever it might be. And I ended up not doing that. I started down that road. Started out as a poli-sci major and just realized real quick that that wasn't my gig. But communication has always helped me, and I see it holding people back. Some people are more introverted and uncomfortable, but they can still talk. They can still interact. They can still go into a place and ask questions. As these generations come into the workforce and mature, what Forbes has found is that they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to take on any kind of confrontation and really don't know how to communicate in person. How did we get here? What in the hell has happened in our society where we can't communicate? It's sad. Think of it this way. 4,000 to 6,000 years ago, all right, approximately. There's arguments on when all these things, the pyramids and such, were there, but the Egyptians used what was called hieroglyphics, pictures, representations to write. Now, over the next thousands of years, our society on this planet developed incredible communication skills. Think of the incredible writers. I'll throw one out. Shakespeare. Think of all those writings. Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Think of the ability to orate and to write down and scribe these great things. Writings of the greatest religious materials, the Bible, the Quran, all of those things happen in this time period. So you got writers. Think of the speeches. Think of Kennedy. Before the end of this decade, we shall reach the moon. Think of FDR, a day that will live in infamy. Think of Reagan's, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Think of the innovations that happened over these thousands of years. Let's talk about a big one that is important to me, the printing press. Led to newspapers and periodicals, etc. People spoke. Governments used to use discourse to solve problems. Now, think of the last 15 years. And I could have gone back many thousands of years, right? You had the Dead Sea Scrolls that were discovered writings at that time. You can see great, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not psychological, just the ability to think and prosper through from all of the different philosophers that wrote things down, Socrates and Plato and the writings of unbelievable people. Think about when I was growing up, I couldn't wait for the next Stephen King novel to come out. The ability to write down big ideas and then turn into movies. We just don't have that anymore. Now what we are, I said the Egyptians, hieroglyphics 4,000 to 6,000 years ago. We're back to damn pictures to communicate. Think emojis. Think memes. Think text. Think instant message, etc. What took us thousands of years to advance to has been dramatically and negatively impacted in just a few short years. It's very sad. Good things have come at greater speed, right? It took us thousands of years to develop the combustion engine and the car or the airplane. Let's use the airplane as an example. Didn't pop the airplane out until right after the turn of the century, 19th century, 1903. And then, 60 years later, we're launching men on rockets. 66 years later, we're landing on the moon. Jet travel every day. I get on flights almost every week. We take all that for granted. All that development was very good. But we didn't suddenly all of a sudden say, you know what? We need to bring horses back. I just want to travel, be a horse. That's what we've done with our communication skills is we've stepped back to camels and horses. Send an emoji. Can't handle confrontation. Can't deliver anything from a discourse. Can't do anything without the help of that little pad in your hand with a bunch of buttons. So our intellectual capabilities of our population at large, some people are still have had good upbringing, have had different situations, didn't have a lot of interaction with it, so I don't want to lump every single person of every age bracket, but it is the predominance of these generations are really struggling. But that intellectual capability of that population at large has been dumbed down. Now, the powerful in the world, they love this. They love us deaf and dumb. Speak when spoken to, shut up, do as I say, not as I do. They want society in turmoil and, of course, dependent. They want, what they want is two classes, the leading class or the elites and the rest of us. Trust me, anything coming out of Brussels does not have good intentions. Anything coming out of Washington, D.C. does not have the greatest of intentions in the long run. You need to empower the states and the local governments, keep government small, keep these people out of it, empower the parents to teach our children again, take our life back. The leaders, they want us in turmoil. Our kids, unfortunately, have predominantly dropped to this level of deaf and dumb, for lack of a better analogy or term or whatever. I remember when my kids, they were entering college, and when they were graduating specifically and starting interviews, man, the fear in their eyes. What do you mean I got to go talk to them? What? Oh my God, what are they going to ask me? How do I answer that? It was fear. It wasn't uneasiness, but fear was in their eyes on having to actually talk to somebody. Now, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just stating what has transpired. If we lose the ability to effectively communicate and interact with a society, just watch the spiral down the drain that we're currently in continue and speed up. It's going to happen. We're fearful of talking to someone. Can't I just text them? No. Do I have to go in and talk to them? Yes. Our culture is supposed to be about interpersonal relationships. That's what we're designed as. It's why we have significant others and spouses, because human interaction is critical. It's how we went from gatherers to villages. It's how we went from villages to cities. It's how we developed the intercommunication skills of people that aren't like us. We have fought for thousands of years to develop this capability. Common languages and common math and common things like this so we can communicate against each other. Unfortunately, our culture is going the other direction. We're more concerned with likes and instant message. Now, post-COVID, we continue to empower less interaction with things such as remote work, hybrid work, those types of things. I see it happening all around me, that the kids and these younger generations continue to go more introverted and more introverted and more isolated. The mental health impacts on this stuff will be studied years from now. Trust me. Going to get worse before it gets better, and it's going to get a lot worse, I'm afraid. Look at all the lack of respect for life. Look at the gang shootings, the school shootings, hatred for people that don't believe exactly what you do. I am right 1,000% of the time. Anybody disagrees with whatever flag or sticker or soup I'm throwing on, the Mona Lisa because, gasoline is bad, are evil. Anybody disagree with me is evil. It used to be that you could kind of talk things out. There's no longer any simple disagreements that we talk through. Instead, bullets start flying. Punches start flying. Online desire to destroy people and their lives due to simply differing opinions. It's because we don't talk. It's because we're losing our communicative capabilities hour by hour, minute by minute, like by like. It's up to us, folks. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it's certainly going to be worth it. Think of what you see on social media when you do interact. And I interact with social media. I'm not sitting here saying I'm never going to use it again. I've got a podcast. You've interacted through your phone to listen to me. You're interacting with things for work. You're interacting things for pleasure. Again, there's good attributes. The ability to easily pass on relationships and interact with people is good, but you've got to have the personal interactions. You've got to speak live. Because here's what's coming. It's all over the news. The next shoe is starting to drop. It's about to, man. And I'm really concerned. Artificial intelligence, AI. My business is very focused on it. Some incredible tools that are going to help our customers from a serviceability standpoint, uptime standpoint, all of those things. AI has a tremendous amount of good from an opportunity standpoint. I specifically think about like medicine and the science. Now, I don't want the Terminator walking around on the planet, so we've got to throttle this thing down. Now, Brussels is coming out saying anything around this really needs to go through us. No, I don't think that's the case. We need somebody a lot smarter than government bureaucrats, some of the dumbest people on the planet. How they get in office, I have no idea. Maybe it's because nobody good wants to run. I think that's how we have ourselves set up for this presidential year, right? No one wants to put themselves through it. So there's good stuff around AI, but not around personal development and communication skills. What it does to society, it's going to make us the next level of stupid. Think about AI and plagiarism. That's now at your fingertips. Now you don't even have to think about what you want to communicate. You just go to ChatGPT or Gemini. Think of the news articles on these coming out of the gate. Oh, we just need time to make them good. No, man, the dirty underbelly showed up. Gemini is completely biased. ChatGPT is completely biased against people that are anything right of far left from a belief standpoint or desire standpoint. And they're shoving it down our throats, just like they did through the education systems of this country. Everything went to one side. I'm not saying disagree or agree with that side. What I'm saying is discourse is needed, communication is needed, so everyone can decide on their own without the risk of being publicly destroyed in the town square that is social media. Lives, businesses, companies, jobs destroyed because he doesn't believe in the striped flag or in girls can be boys or whatever the case might be. Not arguing for or against any of that. Those just happen to be the most fascist approaches to shutting down other people's beliefs in the world. That side yells fascism and Nazi while they're putting on brown shirts and beating people up for thinking the wrong thing. It's just insane. Our society is stupid. And it's because we no longer have the ability for discourse. You don't have to even think about what you want to communicate, but you simply type a thought and your laptop spits out this perfectly and grammatically correct sentence. All my friends, when I see a perfect sentence, I go, they're using artificial intelligence because I know he didn't know there's a comma there. Myself included. Do we really not see where this is leading? I'm all about self-development. That's what this podcast is really about, is how do we become the best me, which leads to the best we? Easy is not always better, folks. Fast is not always the right thing to do. In today's world, we need to strive for, more personal interaction, I guess is the way to say it, not less. We need to have kids' play dates at the park where the mothers are talking with each other and the fathers are talking with each other and the kids are interacting. Don't pop a friggin' iPad into a 4-year-old's hands. Do like we did growing up and put a VHS in so you don't have to take care of your kids. But that was at least communicative, right? Interact with it. Love the movies. But what we're doing is, as parents and as people that have to give help to future generations, we're taking the easy button. Sit down, shut up, look at that for an hour. Here, shove the sugary snack in your belly. This way you'll be fat and stupid, not just stupid when you get older. Man, what we do to ourselves, it's unbelievable. Easy is not always better. We need to help the younger generations understand that there's so much more than social media gives you. The truth comes from discovery, not TikTok. Our nation's enemies are pushing this technology to dumb us down. See, they already have their people in line. You have to remember, Americans are people that stand up for personal rights, God-given rights. We don't need someone's permission. We don't need people telling us to let them eat cake. We need, look it up if you don't know, we need more people pushing back to those empowered, not less. So see, China, with its development of TikTok, they love pushing that to us. Saw an article today that Microsoft is saying that the Russian attacks on media and social media platforms has never been higher. They're attacking it left and right to spread disinformation, to make sure that we stay divided. Now, they didn't do that in the 2016 election. 100 Facebook posts didn't change the election. The desire to get away from those that have been in power forever and had lied and never were successful at leading was why 2016 happened. They and some of our own leaders want to continue our decline. If not, why? If that isn't what they want, then why aren't our leaders fighting to fix all of these problems that divide us? That's the outcome of power hungry. They want us divided. It's up to us to take this control back, folks, and lead. Social media is just one of the bad things out here. Talk to your neighbor. If you got a problem with something going on in the neighborhood, interact with your neighbor. Don't post on Facebook how you hate it, or don't send an email in. See, everyone in society is far more aggressive as they type something. You ever met that person where, man, they sent just a nasty email? Called me all sorts of names, blamed me for everything. I get in front and they're like, hey, how you doing? It's because they're cowards. They don't have the ability to actually communicate. See, the thing about social media is everyone is interested in putting others down and driving their likes up, both negatives. The likes is super self-centered, which isn't good for society, and hoping others don't do well or are hurt or diminished. I mean, that's a sociopath. We have mental hospitals for people with that disorder, and our mental health is on the brink of even a next worse step. Look at the news. Walk the streets. Don't pick your favorite news channel. I'm sick of CNN said this, Fox said that. Hey man, don't believe the video your eyes are seeing, right? Don't believe what your eyes are seeing walking down the street. Don't believe your eyes, you see how people interact. You see these videos where someone didn't get 6 chicken nuggets, they only got 5 chicken nuggets, and they start throwing trash cans at the McDonald's help. Where is this coming from? The inability for discourse, the highly uneducated, and it's demographically worse on people of color. These people are being held back, and they keep on keeping on down the same road, letting the powerful hold them in place. We need to uplift all. There needs to be, I don't like the word equity, there needs to be equality of opportunity for everybody. But there also needs to be an equality of expectations on ourselves. We as humans, it's never been in society. I tell you, somebody that was dependent on others in the past, that wasn't your own child or your parents that you're taking care of, they would push you out of the tribe and leave you for dead. If you were a hindrance to the society or the culture, you were left behind. Now, that sounds harsh. I'm not saying that's what we need to do here, but we need to quit empowering and making that the sexy what you want to be. We've got to get our minds right here, folks. We got to learn to communicate with each other. We got to learn to hold higher standards. We got to learn to make our society be around positives instead of negatives. We need to cheer for the opposing players when they do well. Not why your team's losing. I'm not saying that. But people in life need to look at others and be thankful. Clap for them when good things happen. Don't say, well, how come I can't get that? Well, maybe they're doing something more than you are, Skippy. Maybe they have dedicated time to developing the skills that it takes to be successful. Lots of people raring to go. Not many can go for raring. I've said it before. So embrace communication. Embrace personal interactions. If you're on a hybrid work schedule, instead of going in 2 days a week and 3 at home, go 3 days in. On your days that you're working from home, meet some people that are off schedule with you on the hybrid. Meet them for lunch. Go see a customer or prospect. Walk in their office. See, I'm at the age, I'm a baby boomer, right? I'm the very end of it. I get emails and texts every day trying to get me to interact with somebody that's going to help my sales team do this or help my sales team do that. No one's picked up the damn phone and called me. Nobody. So I junk file them. Why? Because I like to talk to people. Now, I'm not saying that you never text if someone prefers text, but I am saying that you're never going to actually get that relationship that you want unless you're face-to-face, hand-to-hand, belly-to-belly across the desk, out to lunch. Life is beautiful with people along for the ride. Life is lonely if you lock yourself up and you text all day and you Instagram all day and those types of things. Be confident being uncomfortable. Work on communication skills. Work on writing skills. Let's stop the hieroglyphics. And you know what? Our society can be awesome again. Let's keep that shit up. Talk next week.